Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with another East Tennessee fishing report with Ellis Ward. Ellis, how are you?
I am doing better than normal, Marv. How are you?
I'm getting there. It's kind of funny, right? People may not know this, but I try to work on technology setups that work for guys that are on boat ramps in the dark like you are right now. And it's actually working out, knock on wood, pretty well.
Yeah, man. You've done a lot of cool stuff. I think that a lot of which people know about, a lot of which is under the radar. But it's cool that you're reaching people and producing this podcast with someone who is sitting on a boat, not quite at the ramp yet.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. So, folks, that's why I don't use, like, people will be like, are you using Riverside or something like that? And it's like, if I was in a studio situation all the time with guests that were at home, it would be great. But, when you have people out in the field doing the work and they're at a boat ramp, you may or may not have a good enough cell service to run a tool like that. So that's enough behind baseball. You were telling me that despite the fact that it's been pretty damn hot in the mid-Atlantic and it's been cooler probably in the last 3 or 4 days, that the fishing's been unusually good.
Yeah, I am gonna interrupt our regularly scheduled program to just give you credit because I don't think I do it often enough. I'm calling into something that you're recording, and other times I'm using the mics that I use for YouTube stuff on my computer, and I have I'm connected to the Ethernet, and so like every time we talk, I'm giving you a curveball. So it's just something that I think I certainly appreciate and people should know about.
Yeah. We don't even have to talk about scheduling entropy.
No, we don't have to. We will, but save that for non-fishing report time. That's a good one. Yeah, dude, it's been really good. Dry flies to action has been great. Just while we were talking before recording, I think I missed 1 or 2 and got a couple follows. And the trips have been fantastic. Shout out TJ and his son Baden. Got him his first fish on a dry fly, a bunch of other eats. TJ whacked him. Bill came for a couple of days and just it's just fun taking people out and showing them the non cookie cutter version of the Watauga. And so to a certain extent the South Holston. And so, sometimes that means fishing odd hours and swinging for some home runs and maybe not making contact. But I continue to just love what I do and the people that find me and our time on the boat. And then, when we're moving big fish and seeing, oh yeah, Clayton, dude. I mean, we had a day on the South Holston. You got 2 fish over 18, and we lost count of browns that we caught on dry flies. Like, it's just both rivers have been fishing really good, and I do anticipate that will continue for the next month or two. And importantly, for the purposes of booking and thoughts there, like September, October, I really start pushing towards mousing and musky. And part of that is just the regularity. So you come here for streamer fishing and we have low water for 7 days straight. And, after this last year and kind of starting a few years ago, made a very concerted effort to make sure that was a viable product. It's hard work and our odds start to go down a little bit. So July, August, we have water on the Watauga 6 days a week, and they're afternoon, evening trips. I like what I'm doing right now. I'm just chilling, waiting for the water to drop out, which happens where I am at about dark. And then I'm going to be mousing for a couple hours. So running trips like that and this time of year is just It's a lot of fun, and it feels like everything's been settled in for a couple weeks, maybe a month plus now, and get here while the getting's good.
Yeah, I tell you, like watching your stuff on Instagram, you got that like awesome fishy green water too.
Yeah, so I've put in at the dam now a few times way up top, which I have historically gravitated a little lower. Um, partially because our tributaries have just been, I mean, dude, we got one of these again today, these little like squalls or whatever you want to call it, where just for 15 minutes the heavens open up. Excuse me, we have uh I'm gonna guess 1997 Ranger without an exhaust system on it driving by. Um yeah, there's been even from all the way up at the top when it's high, there's just you're not counting pebbles. And prior to Helene, you're counting pebbles in high water. You can see the bottom of the river in 4 or 5 feet of water that's moving. You can see the different colored rocks and different sizes and all that. That same piece of water, you really can't make out the bottom. It's still got that limestone fishy grain to it. And then the rest of the river has this has also been happening on the South Holston because there's a couple creeks that make this happen. We just get hit so hard, and this has been happening 3-4 days a week for the last few weeks. We're getting hit so hard that just all the little ag creeks, the banks start bleeding. Anything that's clay starts, putting out that latte color. And relative to even when they're running water, and it's, historically speaking, it's just gin clear. That drop in clarity, we can still track our flies pretty deep, but that drop in clarity really adds a lot of bitiness. So it takes away from the spookiness. It's a substitute for cloud cover in certain ways, if you want to think about it like that. So yeah, I think that's certainly adding to it. That it's dropped out enough and is clear enough to where in high water, the bugs are fully ripping, which they weren't for a while. And it's both rivers.
Yeah, well, there you go. And folks, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email me or DM me on social media, whatever is easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag and also throw in a couple butcher shop stickers too. We've got a few of those left until I run another batch. And we'll enter your drawing for some cool stuff from Ellis at the end of the season. And Ellis, before I let you go get your mouse on, you want to let folks know where to find you, how to get on the boat. Haven't talked to you about bucktails in a while, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. I got some bucktails up on elliswardflies.com. I'll be getting a bunch more into a couple different shops in the next month or two, but pushing more chips and resources towards on the water stuff and tying to replace flies that, that's the inverse royal, we lose. Otherwise, there might be some musky lures, maybe some flies. elliswardflies.com. There's pictures, information on trips, etc. Best way to contact me, talk about fishing, trips, whatever. I had a dude, Sean. What up, Sean? Call me today, and he's asking me for some information about a bait casting setup. And, he fishes fly and he ties and all that, but like, you pick up on listening to me talk here, YouTube stuff at Ellis Ward Fishing, that I like all fishing. And so baitcaster for musky, we ended up talking for 30 minutes. And like, I love those conversations. If I can help shortcut that learning curve for whatever you're doing, it's reach out to me, and you can do that at 513-543-0019.
Well, there you go. Well, folks, as I always say, you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Ellis.
Appreciate it, Marv.